It. Hey everybody, Mary here from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and welcome to my weekly live chat. I try to go live here every Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time on YouTube. I am live on Facebook on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central Time. Today I'm inside. It has been raining all day long, off and on. We've had so much rain this week, it's crazy. So I'm inside. Plus, I got totally eaten alive by mosquitoes last week, so taking a little break from the garden, and I'm going to have you guys join me here indoors. All right. Krista, I will answer your question in just a moment. My weekly live chats here on YouTube are more garden specific, whereas on Facebook, they are seed specific. So I share specific seed varieties on my Facebook page. Live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. So if you haven't joined me there, I definitely recommend that you join me. Now, today's topic is the same as what it's been the last couple weeks, and that is garden Q&A. And that is simply your chance to ask questions. And also, I'm going to share some of the questions that customers have asked over the past week in an email or Facebook. And then I'm going to share their questions and then share the answers as well. So the first question we have is from Krista, and you said, before you forget to ask, what brand of organic perlite do I use? I don't know the brand. I'll tell you that much right now off the top of my head, because there are so many components in the seed shop right now. I don't know off the top of my head. I do know that what I purchase may not be what you use. I purchase perlite in bags that are like 3 feet tall. I joke that they're almost as big as I am, but I can give you that information. Or if you're interested in purchasing perlite, I can probably offer that by itself. So send me an email. By the way, if I miss any of your questions, please feel free to send me an email. I was missing comments. I apologize. Hey, Caitlin. Hey, Esther's daughter, and Jenny, and Joe. Thanks for joining. So if you've got questions and maybe I miss your question or I don't get a chance to answer it while I'm live, you can always send me an email. My email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com, and I do answer your questions. So Krista, if you want to purchase perlite from me in bulk, just let me know what kind of bulk you're looking for, and I might be able to handle your request. Just send me an email. So today's topic is garden Q&A. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I always appreciate it. All of my YouTube live videos are available to watch the replay at a later time. Now, Facebook just made a change, and my live chats are only available for 30 days. So you'll have to watch those sooner than later. Hey, Michelle, thanks for joining me. Now, the first customer question I wanted to share with you this week is about beans. Now, this customer had responded to my recent email. If you haven't signed up for my email, I highly recommend you sign up for it. She was asking a question about the Jade bush beans. I sent out an email explaining that Jade bush beans have by far outperformed every other bush bean that I planted in my garden. They are one of my absolute favorite crops in general to grow, and those are Jade bush beans. You might be able to see those back there. I've got a little bowl that I just harvested a bunch that we're going to have for dinner tonight. So the Jade bush beans are a fantastic producer. They are heat tolerant. They are disease resistant. They are prolific producers. And when I say prolific producers, I planted Jade bush beans, Cherokee wax bush beans, and tender green bush beans at the same day. They're in 3 different beds. But I planted them on the same day. The Jade bush beans were ready to harvest in 5 days earlier than the others. Hey, Natasha. And they are packed with beans, whereas, say, for example, the Cherokee wax is just now starting to fill out on the plant. And I've been harvesting now for 10 days. And the tender green is, again, the same thing. It's just starting to fill out, and I've been harvesting for 10 days. I did harvest a little bit of the Cherokee wax. I did harvest a little bit of the tender green, but the Jade bean I started harvesting early, and there is way more pods on the plant compared to the other two that I planted at the same time. And I pretty much do this every year. It's always a different bean. Last year it was the dragon tongue bush bean and the blue lake bush bean. So I always try to do these types of odd experiments. Hey, Chelsea. Hey, Inga. Every year I do these experiments and then I can share with you the results, and that way you can decide on what you want. So this customer question was about beans specifically. What do I do with Jade bush beans once I grow them? She said she had never grown beans before. And so beans are a really easy variety to grow. She said, do I cook it like a regular green bean like I buy in the store? Is it a dry bean? How do I prepare it? And maybe you can offer a video on it. In the description below, I shared my video from last year titled Heirloom Bean Production. And in that video, I shared all of the different types of beans. Natasha says I've planted beans everywhere. They keep popping up and I'm like, oh, yeah, so did I. I do love planting beans. They're very easy to grow. You can succession plant with bush beans, and that way you have a continual harvest throughout the entire summer. Jade bush beans are more heat tolerant, so that's why I planted more of those this year. And right now it's actually on the cooler side. It's in the 70s, like mid 70s right now, which is weird because it was 90 something degrees not that long ago. So the question was about the different types of beans. Now you've got snap beans, which you cook up the whole pod and the bean inside. Then you have shelly beans, where you can eat the beans inside after you shell them. So in shelling beans, you remove the bean from the pod and you eat the bean and not the pod. And then you have dry beans where you allow the bean to dry and you can store it that way, put it on the shelf and use it a later time. Joe says on the pinto, if I want dry beans, is it best to just leave the plants alone until they dry? Yes, absolutely. Esther's daughter says, do I use a shade cloth? No, I do not. I've considered adding a shade cloth, but to be honest, I feel like it's a lot more work than what I want to put in, and I want to grow things that don't require as much inputs from me. And we have high winds here where I feel like if I put something up with a shade cloth, it's going to disappear just because of the high winds we have. So I have never used a shade cloth here. I have a full sun garden. I have full sun and partial shade, and I have mostly shade, and I have another full sun. So we have different gardens, and I have another full sun. So I've got different gardens around the property where my full sun, which is my the first garden I put in, has partial shade in the afternoon time just because it's got trees outside of the perimeter. So something to consider. Inga says I had gotten Roma bush beans. Are they still kind of a climber minor, creating tendrils? So Roma bush bean is considered a half runner. And I actually joked about that in my heirloom bean production video. We call them joggers because they're not a runner bean. They're not like a pole bean. They're not a bush bean. They're a semi-runner or a half runner, so they just kind of jog. So you can give them a little bit of support, but you can also just allow them to sprawl a little bit if you want to. And I love the Roma beans as well. They're a really, really good bean to grow. So watch the video if you've got questions about beans. I am trying to work on more recipes. So if you are someone who needs a recipe, I will try to share some of those. I did do one about cooking garbanzo beans, and you can use the same information about cooking garbanzo beans in either a slow cooker, on the stove, or an Instapot. So you can definitely cook up dry beans similar to my garbanzo recipe. Let's see. Jenny says I'm working on a small space. Can I plant 2 different types of beans in a large grow bag? Yes, you can. It depends on how large the grow bag is. In a 5-gallon grow bag, you can probably plant 4 seeds to have 4 plants. I think that really maxes it out. But I have definitely grown them in grow bags, and I already started harvesting some of those. I think I planted slenderette bush beans in grow bags, and I already started to harvest those. So check out the video. I already shared that information. That was one question that someone had, was specifically about beans. And fortunately, I already had all the answers in a video. She had suggested a video and suggested a recipe, and I already had that information available. So you can always ask if you've got questions. The next customer question I had this week was about our loyalty points rewards program. Now, this is not garden necessarily or seed specific. It was just I got an email that said I earned some rewards. What do I do, and how do I redeem them? So I want to share a little bit of information, but I'm going to send it out in an email. I did send it out in an email last year, but we have a lot of new customers this year. So if you are unsure, or you get an email and you're like, this isn't from Mary, so I'm not really going to open it. So definitely check out the rewards program we have. Now, if you go to marysheirloomseeds.com, you will see a small icon. I'm on my computer, for example, and there's a small icon on the left, and it says reward, and there's a little star there, and it's green. The icon is green. Click that. It pops up a little teeny window for the icon, and you can sign in there, or you can sign up. By signing up, you get 50 points. You can find out how to earn. So click how to earn points, and it shows you all the different ways you can earn points. You can earn points by placing an order. You don't even have to place an order to earn points. If you follow me on Facebook, click that and earn some points, but make sure you sign in first or sign up first. Subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you already subscribed, you're good to go. And then if there are some amazing varieties that you've loved at Mary's Heirloom Seeds, you can write a review and you will earn points by writing reviews. So those are ways to earn. The second option there in that window says redeem points. And you can click that little button and it shows you all the ways you can redeem your points. You can start redeeming your points at 500 points, which is pretty easy to grow, or pretty easy to manage. You can grow your points that we talked about earlier. So, and if you're not sure about this, you can always send me an email and I can share that with you as well. But the loyalty rewards points are optional. You don't have to use them. You don't have to sign up. If you're on your phone, again, there's a little icon and it's a little green circle or icon and a little white star in it. So there's a rewards. And like I said, I did send out an email last year, but we've had so many people, I wanted to share that with you as well. So if you place orders at Mary's Heirloom Seeds and you get an email that says, congratulations, you've earned X amount of points, just know that that is part of our rewards program. And it's just something that I wanted to do to be able to give you guys a little extra added bonus. Maybe helps your seed budget grow a little longer. The next thing on my list is National Pollinator Week. I had a customer ask, do I have something that is geared more towards kids as far as pollinator seeds? And I thought, well, no, but there's tons of pollinator seed packs that we have, and also pollinator seed combo packs that we have. Inga says, I love doing reviews because it is an awesome way to share your successes. Thank you very much. Now, as far as the reviews go, because I added the rewards program and it didn't mesh well with the review app that I had, I added a different one. And this one is even better. It allows you to share pictures. And I will say this, all of the reviews require approval because I don't want someone to put maybe not so family friendly pictures or reviews on my website that might be sketchy or inappropriate. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to explain any more on that because being on YouTube, I have a moderator here that sits here to make sure that any inappropriate comments don't get through. I do have teachers and homeschool families that use my videos and they use my website to educate their kids. And so I want to make sure that we have a family-friendly environment for everybody. So we'll just throw that out there at you. If you don't see your review immediately, I may be busy in the workshop, or if you placed it in the evening time, I may be sleeping and I'll get to it first thing in the morning when I start work at 5 o'clock. So just keep in mind that they do require approval only because I want to keep everybody safe and have a happy environment for everybody. So I mentioned National Pollinator Week. It is so awesome. Hey, Christy. Now, for Mary's Heirloom Seeds, we celebrate and we really, I want to say, campaign for pollinators in January, because planting for pollinators in mind in your garden is super important. Now, at Mary's Heirloom Seeds, I chose January because January is usually a time where people are planning their gardens. It's probably cold outside. I know it here, sometimes it's warm and sometimes it's cold, but mostly it's cold here in January. So I do want to make sure that people consider adding pollinator friendly plants to their garden. So the entire month of January at Mary's Heirloom Seeds is designated for Plant for Pollinators Month. But this is the official National Pollinator Week. So I did share some information on that. And so we've got the edible flower seed combo pack. We have the sunflower seed combo pack. We have the flower power seed combo pack, but those are more herbs. And we've got one that is a region specific pollinator pack. So it's a list of specific varieties for pollinators, and then you get to choose the region specific mix that is fantastic for you as well. So those are great, and they're not kid specific, but they're all fantastic. And we also added bulk flower seeds. So if you're someone that likes to just grab a handful of seeds and scatter them in an area like I do, the bulk seeds are a fantastic option. Peter, that is a fantastic option, or a fantastic question. How is growing from Southern California different from Texas? And so if you don't know my history, I started Mary's Heirloom Seeds in South Florida. Then I was in Southern California for a couple of years while I helped my dad out a little bit. And then now we're in East Texas. So, and I grew up in Southern California, so I have a lot of experience there. I grow in raised beds in East Texas, just like I did in Southern California. We have a lot more rain here. And when I lived in Roma, which is Southern California, I want to say it's San Diego County, but it is semi-rural outside of the city. I think our average rainfall was 16 inches. In Ben Wheeler, Texas, our average rainfall is 46 inches. So we get a lot more rain here. It gets a lot hotter here, but it isn't as dry. So in Southern California, it's a dry heat. Here we have humidity. So we have, in my opinion, more bugs, more potential for plant diseases. We have more critters. So I didn't have wild hogs in Southern California, but we definitely have wild hogs here. We have deer here. We have more rabbits on our property. We have more squirrels on our property, but we have more birds, and it is much easier, in my opinion, to grow, even though I have more things that could potentially disrupt my garden. So the heat definitely does it for me. It's definitely really hot. But I will say that it's still very similar. I mean, we both, in both regions, I grew in raised beds. In both regions, I grew just about the same varieties. Inga says, and tornadoes and orange cats. Yes, I'm currently collecting orange cats. For those of you that don't know, Inga is a friend of mine, so she sees my personal page. Not only did we add an orange cat inside, but a random sickly orange cat showed up, and we've been feeding him outside as well. So that's now 4 indoor, 1 outside. So yes. Esther's daughter says my 5 large leaf basils are growing huge. Overall, I would say that my growing experience here in Texas, there's more bugs, but it's bigger and better. So I also have more space here too, so there's that too. Chrissy says we have an orange cat too. We have 2 siblings that are 3. We have one that just randomly showed up, and he's only been here since November. And then this one out here is beat up. So we're going to try and help him as much as we can outside. He is definitely scared of literally everything. So we just try and do what we can. So we talked about the bean information. We talked about the loyalty points program. We talked about National Pollinator Week. In the seed combo pack section on Mary's Heirloom Seeds, you can use a discount code, seed combo 25. Yes, it is. Inga says, is that Trieste white zucchini behind you? Yes, it is. It was way too big when I harvested it. I should have harvested it earlier, but it's one of those that was like hiding underneath the leaves. So seed combo, it's seed combo 25. There's no spaces, all caps. You can use that in the discount code box at checkout, and that'll save you 10% off all of our seed combo packs. I've got 2 for Texas. I've got 2 one companion, 2 container garden seed combo packs. We've got all herbs or all veggies. There's some themed gardens, so you can save 10% off that right now. Specifically on the pollinator one, I wanted to share that with you. I added 2 melon varieties on sale today. And then last but certainly not least, before I sign off and make dinner, is free seeds. And I came in the house from the shop. I completely forgot to bring the free seeds to show you in my hands. So you're just gonna have to imagine, or you can go to my Facebook page and see it. Gill's Golden Pippin Acorn Squash is my free seed pack this month. It's not the entire month. Like if you place an order on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I didn't have my postcards yet, but you get a free seed pack and a postcard that goes with it. And as an added bonus, I'm including 2 free seed packs right now. So right now on my table is basil and Gill's Golden Pippin. When I run out of the basil, I don't know what I'm going to add, but it'll be something fun. So I always like to include free seeds, but this particular one has a postcard with it. It's a perfect personal size acorn squash. So if you're like me and you love winter squash, but maybe the people in your household are like, a little bit of winter squash goes a long way. The personal size one is really good. So there's a little less waste, and then you don't have to cook up as much at one time. The big ones are fantastic. You can stuff them and store them if you're a single person and you don't want to have a lot of them. Esther Sada says, thank you for the free watermelon and sunflower seeds. Awesome. So you got 2 free seed packs too with your order. But I like Gill's Golden Pippin because it's smaller. You can use it as a whole meal if you have both halves, or you can have a small half as like a side. So you don't have to eat the whole thing. It's really, really good even just for a snack because it is on the smaller side. If you've ever seen an acorn squash, they can get very large. Whereas the Gill's Golden Pippin, you'll see in the picture on my postcard, I have 3 in my hand. And as I mentioned last night, I don't have big hands. I got little hands. They're short, and my fingers are short and stubby, but I still got smallish hands. So when I got 3 in my hand, so they're not a large acorn squash, which is a plus. Some people really like the smaller varieties. That Trieste white zucchini is massive. It's almost as big as the pumpkin there. All right, everybody. So please, if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I also am probably going to have some allergy tea after this week. If you have any questions, send me an email. My email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com, and I do try to answer your questions. Down below in the description section, you will find my link to my comprehensive planting guide. You'll find a link to the heirloom bean production video that I did. Please check that out. It is a very underrated video. There aren't a lot of views on that video, and it is very in-depth on different types of beans. And it's a live video, so you can kind of see the interaction that I had before. And then send me an email if you've got questions. I'm always happy to help if I can. My email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. So, thank you very much for joining me. I do appreciate it, even though I'm indoors instead of outside because it's currently raining right now. like Peter asked, what's the difference between Southern California and Texas? And I had to say the biggest difference is rain, which I'm not complaining about. My garden is flooded right now, but since I have raised beds, they are still thriving and doing fantastic. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and happy planting.